All right, we've all had this happen, right? You click a link, you're trying to read something, and boom, you get that blocked page. And you're sitting there thinking, wait, what did I do wrong? Well, you probably didn't do anything. So today, we're going to get to the bottom of why the web is suddenly putting up all these walls.
Yeah. It's that really jarring moment. 1 second, you're just browsing along, and the next, bam, access denied. No explanation, nothing. It's super frustrating, right? And it totally leaves you wondering, what just happened?
So let's kind of treat this whole thing like a mystery. The crime scene? It's pretty obvious. You're locked out. But the culprit? Well, to find that, we got to look at how the internet actually works under the hood.
I mean, it feels so random, doesn't it? Almost personal. But what if it's not about you at all? What if you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Maybe using the wrong kind of digital ID.
And that brings us to our first major clue. It's something you carry with you every single time you go online, even if you don't realize it. Think of it as your digital ID card.
Okay, so the technical name for it is the HTTP User Agent. And yeah, I know, that sounds super technical, but the idea is actually really simple. Every time your browser or some app connects to a website, it sends this tiny little piece of text that basically says, hey, how's it going? Here's who I am.
That's why this digital ID card analogy is just perfect. Just like you might show an ID to get into a club or buy something, your browser shows its user agent to get into a website. It's just the standard, polite way of introducing yourself online.
But here's the thing. Not all of these digital IDs are created equal. Not even close. A good, clear one is super specific. It might say, hey, I'm Firefox running on Windows, or I'm Safari on an iPhone. But then you have these suspicious IDs. They're extremely generic, like this example here. Go HTTP client/1.1. I mean, what even is that? It's basically the online equivalent of showing up with a completely blank ID card. It doesn't exactly scream trustworthy, does it?
So, you might be asking, why is everyone suddenly so tough on these generic IDs? Well, it's because the internet is right in the middle of this massive data gold rush. And frankly, it's making website owners really, really suspicious.
And when I say suspicious, I'm not kidding. Website owners are calling it a plague. They're dealing with this constant, never-ending swarm of automated bots, or crawlers, just hammering their sites day in and day out.
So what are all these bots looking for? What's the big prize? It's data. Tons and tons of data. They are scraping enormous amounts of text from all over the web, and it looks like it's mostly to train large language models, LLMs. These are the engines that power all those incredible AI tools we're hearing so much about.
Now, you can probably imagine the chaos this causes for a website. All of that traffic can slow things down to a crawl, it can crash servers, it can drive up costs for the people who are just trying to keep their site online. It's just this relentless, resource-draining attack.
So in response, websites have to defend themselves, right? They have no choice. And this is exactly where you, an innocent user just trying to browse the web, get caught in the crossfire of a war you didn't even know was happening.
Okay, so here's the chain reaction that leads to you getting that access denied screen. First, you've got these AI crawlers with those sketchy, generic IDs, just overwhelming websites. Step 2, the sites have to defend themselves, so they put up a barricade. They just start blocking all generic IDs across the board. And then finally, the perfectly legitimate app or tool you happen to be using, which unfortunately also has one of those generic IDs, gets blocked right along with all the bad bots.
And that's the real heart of the problem. You're not a data scraping bot. But because the tool you're using has a generic digital ID, the website security system, well, it just can't tell the difference. You've become a victim of mistaken identity.
This isn't just some random technical glitch. It's actually pointing to a huge, fundamental shift in how the web itself operates. The unwritten rules are changing, literally right under our feet.
Think about it. The web was originally built on this amazing principle of openness and trust. But that trust, it's being worn down by this huge AI data rush. To protect themselves, websites are becoming more closed off, more suspicious by default. They're basically demanding better identification from anyone and everyone who knocks on their digital door.
And that leaves us with a pretty big and honestly kind of troubling question. We're all watching this incredible rise of AI, but what's the hidden price we're paying for it all? Could it be the open, accessible web that we've always just taken for granted? It's definitely something to think about the next time you see that access denied message pop up.